What is up, guys? Pokemon Home is now able to be connected to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, so let's jump into everything that involves with. So if you have gotten your update for Pokemon Home, it is rolling out a little bit at a time, pushing it a little bit so that we don't crash the servers. But if you do have access to it, you will obviously go in and you can now see Scarlet and Violet, BDSP, Legends Arceus, and then Sword and Shield. So pretty much everything there. And then Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee if you do have those games. So as we jump into the Pokemon Violet, you can actually see I did transfer some over. You can actually transfer over a lot of legendaries. And there are a few things that are different. So as you can see, we have our Giratina, Calyrex. We have our Articunos, you know, your Moltres, Zapdos of Galarian and Kanto versions. You have Eternamax or Eternatus. You have Urshifu. I'd go ahead and got a Cubfu. And then you have your two Regis. The only Regis you can get in the game are Regilucky and Regidrago. You cannot bring the other Regis over. I'm hoping they bring that in a DLC because Regigigas is my favorite. So I would love to see it in a DLC just like they did in Sword and Shield. In one of those. So we can go ahead and shiny hunt it again. And you can see right there on top, we do have our Hisuian forms. Our Ursaluna, our Gudra, you know, Cleaver, Avalugg, your Hisuian forms, and you are able to shiny hunt those in Violet. If you want to see a video about that, go ahead, comment down below, and I can put something together for you. But also, you got your Dialga, your Enamorus. Enamorus is going to be a new one that you can bring in, but there are a few changes. So these are already in the game, and I've already uploaded them into the game and started the game. Like normal, my Thundurus here has the Pokemon Go logo. That means that Pokemon has came from Pokemon Go. Since that Pokemon was in Sword and Shield, and I already had that Pokemon in Sword and Shield, I was able to bring him in. Now you can see my Hoopa here has that same emblem. Hoopa can actually come in to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. But since I have not acquired him on any console game, so Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, Legends Arceus, you know, stuff like that, I can't transfer him in. If you have a Pokemon that has came directly from Pokemon Go and has not gone into another game, you cannot just transfer them in. They have to be acquired in the game first before you are able to transfer your Pokemon Go versions in. Same thing with Zamazenta and Zacian. If you have only got them on Pokemon Go, you will not be able to transfer them in unless you have the, you know, Sword and Shield version transferred in first. That is going to be a big game changer, and it is going to maybe hide some Pokemon from you from being able to transfer them over. But as I transfer this Froakie over, it is going to be a little bit different than normal home updates. You now see a disc show up. That is going to be involving the moves in which it can learn. So it is a level 1, keep in mind, so it's not going to know a lot of moves. But now in home, I can change moves, forget moves. This is how you can do your event moves. I have Volcanion here. Should be able to transfer him over. If I saved, you'd be able to do the same thing. But you can go ahead and change moves and get your event moves that way. And they did do that because if I took, say, my Palkia and transferred him back to Legends Arceus, he would have a completely different moveset. Same thing as if I transferred him into Pokemon Sword and Shield. Probably the best example I can give is Gastrodon. Gastrodon used to be very known for having the move Scald in Sword and Shield. People would use Scald on Gastrodon all the time for competitive. Now, Scald is going to be an exclusive move to Volcanion. So Volcanion is going to be the only Pokemon that can learn Scald. So if you do bring the Sword and Shield Gastrodon into Scarlet and Violet, it will lose that move. But if you bring that Gastrodon back to Sword and Shield, it can then relearn Scald. You can do that in Pokemon Home or you can do it in the game. That is going to be a big mix-up into the moves. That's how you do event moves, special game moves, because each generation has a different move pool for that Pokemon. And it does actually sometimes change the ability, but not always. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, if you are connecting your Pokemon Home to your phone, you know, the phone app, the mobile app for Pokemon Home, you'll go ahead and unlock Fuecoco, Quaxly, and Sprigatito with their hidden abilities, which Fuecoco is unaware. Moxie is going to be Quaxly, and Sprigatito is going to be Jolly. You just get those no matter what. If you do connect it, they end up as a gift, and you can go ahead and bring them in no problem. But a few things to keep in mind here that are actually going to be very different. So, Hisuian forms did not have Tera types. You can see a Tera type down there on their typing, and that's not because I went ahead and put it on there. The game actually gives it one. So, these Pokemon have been in my Pokemon Home for quite a while. Now, this Hoopa I actually brought in today. So, being a Psychic Ghost type, it went ahead and gave itself a Tera type. So, if you do bring Pokemon into here, they will automatically get Tera types. It goes ahead 99.9% of the time. It gives you that first typing. So, as in fighting flying here, it's fighting, there's fire, you know, it just so on and so forth. It gives it a first move, you know, first typing for its Tera type, which isn't always a bad thing. So that is something to keep in mind as you go through, and especially when you bring your alphas, because alphas actually have their own mark and they can get a new mark just by being an alpha. So about the alphas, if you do come to Mesagoza and you just fly in over here, this lady will be able to give you a mark for free just by being an alpha Pokemon. We go ahead and we have our Ursaluna here. It is an alpha. We go ahead and check the summary. I have already given this one mark, and just like that, it has the jumbo mark. If you talk to her with any alpha, it automatically comes with the alpha mark. Gives Ursaluna the former alpha, just like kind of like special mark like the Titans within this game. And then a jumbo mark just by talking to her, being an alpha. It's going to be maxing out that size scale. And Ursaluna is actually really big, and Avalugg Alpha is not that big. So it is a big difference between different Pokemon. That is pretty much going to be it for Pokemon Home, which you can transfer Pokemon over. There's a lot of main legendaries. You can do Alolan forms, you can do Hisuian forms, but you're going to be the big one, and you can, you know, shiny hunt them in this game with their forms, with their specific region forms. And especially, you mainly just bring over a lot of starters. If you did enjoy this one, go ahead, drop a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.